How I dress my daughter versus her dad.
Brought out the pink Lamborghini just a race with China. What the race?
Here's my thing, right? I can never understand why women in these cases, or even some people, why not let kids just be kids? Why push them to have a persona of a grown-up? You look at her. Children, right, don't really wear like that. They don't. And you can see how her father did it. Exactly. That's how I believe that's a child. That's how she be. Because we forget that these things that we do for how we raise our kids, they will affect them mentally and how they will grow up. So we don't recognize that, hey, maybe this is not a good mindset we're instilling into our kids. Because nowadays you hear kids are not, they're acting up, they're violent, they are just, they're doing things that back in the day kids wouldn't usually do. I think kids have gotten a lot worse. And it's these things, right? Where one, we want to be friends with our kids. Two, we put responsibilities, we put mindsets onto our kids so early on. I think it's really affecting them. They are growing up much quicker. They are acting up, much quicker and acting up much more crazier. I think this is just not the right way, in my opinion. People can do what they want with their kids, right? I just don't think this is not a good way for the next generations, because you always see it with, young people nowadays, how they are acting. And I just don't think this is the best way. Also, let's talk about the whole, you can't control what people will, because bad people would always be bad, right? If they sexualize your kids, they're bad regardless. You can't tell them to stop. But we don't recognize that we have, there are consequences to our actions as well. We're contributing, people like this, you're contributing to the sexualization of children by dressing them like, that's dressing like an adult. I'm sorry. I don't know what some people think, but that's dressing like an adult, okay? That style, you're dressing your children like adults. You can see the difference between the father and the mother. He dressed it like a child, a little kid, while she is glamorizing that child like an adult. So there are consequences to your actions. Now, I'm not saying that it should correlate to bad people being bad, but I mean, how about not contributing to it? Because again, we have to recognize that there are consequences to our actions, that, you know what, maybe we put our children in the wrong light, or we ourselves, right, are giving an image to our children that we don't need to and we shouldn't. But again, I just think it's crazy that why do these to our kids? I just can't understand it, right? Because I just don't like the idea of us let our kids, because kids nowadays don't have the imaginations they used to have. They don't have the mentality that they used to have, right? Very whimsical, very childless, very childlike. Now it's just like little adults.
How I dress my daughter versus her dad.
Brought out the pink Lamborghini just a race with China. What the race to China? Just a.
That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is why stats show that children raised by fathers are better off. Because how can you dress your child? You're practically objectifying, sexualizing your child. Like short shorts, what is it, those halter top? I mean, like, seriously, she's showing, there's no need for a baby, or that looks like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, showing so much skin. Why? Why is she dressing like a full-grown adult when she's a child? He did it like it's conservative, but it looks good. So that's insane. This is the thing where women are not understanding the ramifications of what they're doing. They're dressing their children like little adults. It is just, I mean, God, I think it's just disgusting. I just really think it's disgusting because, again, we don't understand. Like, those little things, that, yes, it's just dressing, but at the end of the day, you understand that the image you're portraying, it's the ideals, it's just every little thing, okay, when with a child will affect them. So if this is a usual thing, she said this is how she dresses her child, so it's an often thing. That is very damaging because now you're just pushing an adult persona onto your children so quickly. I think that's one of the biggest problems we have right now in society is that we don't let kids be kids. We don't let kids enjoy being a child, being a baby, it's like we're trying to push them to be having a grown-up persona, right? Responsibilities, even dressing, acting like an adult. It is just, it is too much. I think it's just absolutely, it's the wrong way to go. It is really the wrong way to go. And I just think that, like, things like this, then how can, this is the insanity. How can you not see what you're doing, right? It's just beyond me. And I love it because I love the thing that even the father, he shows that it's shown style. It shows style, right? Because that's what she's trying to do, right? Be stylish. But there's ways where you can be styled, but not go overboard. So the father is definitely on point, and the mother is insane.
I'm so sorry. I have to ask this last question because it's so important. How do you feel about kids?
I have a son.
Okay.
And do you have kids?
Yes.
How many?
5.
Got it.
Okay, is that a problem? A deal breaker?
I mean, how many of them have, like, what's the ratio?
Oh, damn.
Or, like,
really, I have to go through all of them? Okay. I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 11-month-old.
So fresh.
He should have been blunt because he wanted to ask how many baby fathers. You know it. He should have been blunt because that would have said a lot too. But what kind of men do women think they're gonna get with all these kind of mistakes they're making? What type of man? Let's dissect it a little bit. Hypothetically, if she had 5 kids by one man, let's go with that. You couldn't make it work with a man that you chose to give 5 kids to. Good men will see that as a red flag. That you gave 5 kids to one man, and yet you couldn't make it work. That's the thing where men think, oh wait, if you're giving this man kids, you love him, you see a future with him, you see him as a good father, you don't see a reason to separate. Because why would you make your kids go through that crap? Okay, so that's a red flag that you couldn't even make it work with the man you gave 5 kids to. Now, let's do it the other way. Where you have 5 kids by multiple men. God forbid you have 5 kids by 5 different men. That would be insanity. But here's the thing where that's also a red flag. I mean, no matter how you turn it, it's a red flag. I give her credit for asking that question, but this is the thing where women understand what type of man you think you're getting. Because here's a woman, if she had 5 kids by multiple men, don't know how many, but just multiple men, that already shows you the red flag. That you would be with these men that you couldn't make relationship work, you don't see a future with. Yet you gave these men children. Women don't understand. It seems like women don't understand this anymore. The two most biggest thing, most treasured thing you can give a man is your body and children. And women give it so freely, so easily to, they give those things so easily, especially to the terrible men. To men that they don't see a future with. That's the thing. To men that they would, insult, think lowly of, yet you gave children, the most precious thing you can give to a person, to these men. It's like, what do you think the next, how would you think that you will be attracting good men? Because good men will see that as like, wow, that it's just, it does not look like a good situation to go into, because it looks like you're going to repeat that failure, you're going to repeat that mistake. So a good man is usually a smart man too, and he can see that, wow, that's a red flag, these are red flags, and it's not a smart decision. And insane, she has an 11-month-old, so she recently gave birth to a child, and still couldn't make that work. This is insanity. I just want to say, what do these single mothers think? What type of man are you thinking you're gonna get? This is the thing where they can't think, right? Process. Okay, if I made all these mistakes, what type of man would you be getting? You be getting the same type of men that impregnate you. Those type of men, because those type of men they don't care. They're not good men. They don't care. They just want to hit it and quit it. And if they got a child, they got a child. It's not that big of a deal. To those men, children aren't that important, or they're not. They don't see children as that level of responsibility. Good men, they value, oh, that's a high level of responsibility. You know, I have to be in a good situation to take on those responsibility. Bad men, they're like, whatever. I have kids. Just more out there, right? But this is things like, it shows you what are women thinking. You know, I hate shit like this. If a baby mom is making your life easy and willingly, not making it hard, let you see your kids, and you don't, it's absolutely silly, absolutely ridiculous. This is a dirt of a man. But here's another take. Why do women give children to these type of men? It's like, women don't understand. You made these men unaccountable. You made these men, who they are. I mean, you rewarded these men with children. That's the thing what women can't understand. Yes, there are terrible men out there. Yes, this man is a terrible man, but you rewarded him with children. So, this is the thing, okay? Why a lot of men are holding women accountable, because at the end of the day, by women giving terrible men children, giving terrible men their bodies, giving terrible men their, youth, it is women taking away accountability from men. How can you hold a man accountable for his actions when women will take it away? Women will reward terrible men with their body and with children. Two of pretty much the most precious things, or the top level thing you can give a man: children and your body. It just, and again, yes, this man is a terrible man. He's a terrible father, because that's sad. You see the child looking, wanting to see, if his father is there coming. But you gave him, it says kids, so you gave him multiple kids. You saw this man fit enough to have one kid. No, you actually saw him fit enough to have multiple kids. This is why it flabbergastes me, and why women can't understand. Men say choose better, because it's so much more important that women choose better. Because again, women are the ones producing the next generations. Women are pretty much the ones creating the trauma that their kids go through. Because again, there will always be terrible people out there. There will always be terrible men out there. But if you give these terrible men kids, whose fault is that? How is it the fault of the terrible man that he's terrible? Because again, you reward being terrible with children and your body. So how can any man hold other men accountable when if he says, "Yo, bro, you got to be this, you got to be that," and if he's not, yet he still got kids, he still gets laid, then who is right? Right? Who is right? How can that's what I'm saying? Like, women will negate men holding other men accountable by these kind of actions. Right? Why men say be more discernible. Pick better because it matters, especially when it comes to women. It matters. That's why it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and shit like this, I find it's just sad.